Hello and welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen and today we're going to be making luxurious soy candles. I was gifted some things from Morouge Canada and I'm so excited to do this today. So they sent me Silky Soy. This is a soy-based candle wax. And it's supposed to have a really good glass adhesion and a smooth finish on top. And I looked up, we'll talk more about the melting points and the fragrance load on this wax, but this is the wax we're using today. And they also sent me some gorgeous luxury candle vessels. This one is the teal blue colored one. Isn't that beautiful? But today, we're going to make these candles and I have two different wicks. So this is a 3-inch vessel across the top. And so when you look up wick guides, I'll leave the information on some really good wick guides, wicking guides down below in the description box. So what you do is you take whatever vessel you're using and measure the width across the top, and then there are some wick guides that will help you find wicks that are best in that size, and then they will tell you what waxes work best. And wicks are a whole, I am not a super candle maker. There are some wonderful candle making resources here on YouTube. I'm pretty elementary when it comes to candle making, but I'm excited to try this project. They sent me the things to work with, and so I'm excited to do this. So for a 3-inch vessel that I have, we're going to do 2 different wicks, and then we'll give them a flame test. I got these from the Flaming Candle Company. This is an Eco 12. It's a pre-tabbed cotton wick. So we'll do that in this vessel. This is the right size for a 3-inch vessel, and I also have some medium-sized 1/2-inch wooden wicks, and I'm anxious to try these in there. So we'll make a wood wick, a cotton wick, and these have to cure. This particular candle wax says that at least a 5 to 7 day cure time after making is optimal, and it holds they said 7 to 10% fragrance load, and we'll talk about that when we get into this. Let me show you the fragrance. They did send me some fragrances to play with too, and I had a really hard time choosing. For these 2 candles with the different wicks, I'm going to use the same fragrance so that it has it equal across the board. You know, different fragrances behave differently. I'm going to use the same fragrance in both of the candles while we test the different wicks, and it is called Sweet Moon. And it smells really beautiful. Let me read you the scent description here. Top notes of bergamot, violet, middle notes of ylang ylang, carnation, base notes of vanilla, sandalwood, and musk. I'm not picking up a lot of florals in this. It does have a earthy but sweet scent to it. I think it's lovely, and I think it's going to make a beautiful candle scent. Now, because these vessels are so gorgeous, I don't need to steal the show. I am not going to color these. That wax is a beautiful creamy color, and so we're just going to leave it uncolored. I'm not even going to worry about dye chips today. This is all about the vessel and the fragrance. Everything pulled together, and let's come back and make some really luxurious vessel candles. All right, we're back, and I want to talk about a few things on the computer, but first let me show you the other colors. So this teal color is what we're doing today for each of the wick tests, and then they also sent me this absolutely gorgeous blush color. It's just breathtaking. And this iridescent white, classic. So I'll be making more candles with those other vessels, but today we're doing the teal. All things being equal, same fragrance, same wax, same color, and we're going to give the wood and the cotton wick a test. And let me tell you a little bit about these wooden wicks. This is from the Flaming Candle, and again, this is sorry about the glare, this is a medium wood wick, which they said is suitable for a 3-inch vessel. And they tell you on their website, it's very nice. Their website is a wonderful, user-friendly site, and it says environmentally friendly wood wicks, ultimate performance. They're from U.S. mills that maintain FSC certification and practice environmentally friendly forestry standards. So these are well-made wooden wicks, and let me get out of this window, and I'm going to show you. Let me flip around and show you. If you just go to the Flaming Candle Company, they have a wick guide. Here is their wick guide, and I already had these Eco 12 wicks, so I wanted to just double check and make sure that they would be appropriate in this candle. So I go down here to the Eco Wicks. So it tells you the type of wick here, and then the kind of candle, you know, if you're going to have votives or pillars and all that. And I am doing a container candle with a 3-inch, and it gives the guide up here 2 to 3 inches with a 3-inch opening. And I come on down here, and here's my Eco 12, and I'm right in there. And also this is a 3 to 4 inch. It would also be good for that. So this vessel that I'm using today is right on the edge of 3 inches. So the Eco 12 is going to be good for a 3 to 4 inch, according to this. The wooden wicks, and it tells you which one for each vessel. So their wick guide on the flaming candle is very easy to use for a beginner candle maker. And again, there are so many amazing candle makers on YouTube. Right off the top of my head, Black Tie Candle, amazing. Memory Box, Stanley. Those guys really know their stuff. And so if you want really detailed candle making input, I would definitely go check out their channels because they know what they're talking about. But I really like finding guides like this. So it makes somebody like me, where soap making is my primary craft. I do make candles, and I have been making them for years, but it's not my primary craft, and I really appreciate a well done website like that where I can go in and look things up. They just have very user-friendly guides on there. All right, so the first thing that I want to do before I even start measuring the wax and get into that is I want to get my vessels wicked up. And so let me show you. When you buy wicks from the flaming candle, you have to get the little metal clips separately. And it just says wooden wick, what does it say? Wood wick tabs, that's what it's called. And it's just a little metal device like that with a little pinchy top, and you put your wooden wick in here. They're tight, and that's good. You want them to be tight. There we go. There. That is ready to go, and now I'm going to put a little glue dot on the bottom of this. And these are kind of nice because they're not wiggly. You can just go boop right down in the middle. And these vessels do have a little indentation in the center. If you catch the glare I got there, it'll be really easy to center the wick up because it has that little indent in the bottom. So I just have basic glue dots. This is what I use. Now they do make wick tabs that have adhesive on them, and it's like a peel and stick dealio, and there's lots of options out there. This is what I have, so I'm using it. So my little glue dot is on there, and now I'm simply going to try to center this up as best I can. Stick it, and there it is. So this is really nice because you don't need it. This will stay standing when I pour the hot wax in here. It's very nice, very stable. I'm going to set that off to the side. And now for the cotton wick, get one out here. These are pre-tabbed, and pre-tabbed means it has this little metal base on. Fabulous. I always get the pre-tabbed ones just for ease of use. So again with the glue dot, and I have my handy dandy power tool here, a chopstick that I will show you. They make really cool tools. Again, those candle makers that I spoke about earlier have really nifty tools for getting a wick, a soft wick down into a tall vessel. They have wicking instruments. They're not very expensive, but so what I do is I'm going to eyeball it again and set it, and then I take my chopstick and I kind of poke it to make sure it's mushed down, and there it is. So let me show you what I have. I bought these on Amazon. These are candle wick holders. Pretty basic. They were pretty inexpensive. They're a little fancier than, this is what I started out with. I'll show you these first. This is super high tech, let me tell you. It's a popsicle stick with a hole drilled in it. And you know what? For years, when my kids were at home and I'd make candles, these worked, except they slide a little, but they do hold it. So for the super most budget-friendly wick holder, you can't beat the price on these. A pack of popsicle sticks and a drill hole. But I went ahead and splurged. These were very inexpensive also. I'm kind of joking, tongue-in-cheek. These are a little more advanced, and they go in here so it's not going to slide around. It has a little niche. I'm going to show you there. So you put your wick in, and you put it in that little niche there so it doesn't slide, and it's going to be nice and stable when you pour the hot wax, because when hot wax hits these wicks, they can kind of bend and they get soft, and so you really want to hold your cotton wicks stable. So we are wicked up, and now I'm going to pull my wax block out and we will get to measuring. All right, we're back and it's time to cut into this block. And let me tell you, these vessels, when you pour a vessel, you know, good sized vessel container like this, I like to have it about 1 inch from the top is where I'm pouring to. This holds about 11 ounces to get me up to the height that I want. So I'm going to do 10 ounces of wax and 1 ounce of fragrance. It's going to take up a little bit of the space in there, and that would be a 10% load on the wax. So we're doing 10% with our fragrance oil in this. So I'm doing 2 of these, so I need 20 ounces of this wax chopped up in my pot here to get melting. All right, this was pretty easy to cut. It's kind of like cold butter consistency, a little bit firmer than that, but not difficult at all to cut this. So now we're going to get this melting, and I have my handy dandy point and shoot thermometer. Love this. If you soap or candle make, this is a really great tool to have. And let me tell you, with this wax, what it said on the website, I looked up and read the recommendations for this Silky Soy wax. You want to heat it up to 190 to 200, and then you want to add your fragrance and pour it while it's still pretty warm. Some soy waxes, they want you to cool it down to 160 before you pour it. This one, they want it heated up pretty high, and they want you to go ahead and add your fragrance at around 190 and get it poured into the vessel. So that is what we're going to do. It says it makes for better glass adhesion at a higher temperature. So I'm going to trust them. We're doing this for the first time here, and I'm going to follow the instructions. So we will come back when that is melted. All right, so while the wax is melting, I'm going to go ahead and measure out my fragrance for each of these candles. And I want to do 1 ounce, which is 10% of the vessel in here. There is, if I can find it, there's a video out there that talks about how to measure the volume for your candle vessel and the fragrance oil, and make sure you get the exact perfect amount. And it's a really great tutorial. This is the super basic way that I'm doing. I will try to find that video for you. But right now I need 1 ounce of fragrance in each of my little beakers here to add to the candles. Let's it melted very quickly, you know, maybe 10 minutes or less, and this is a nice hot little burner I have. Let's take the temperature and see. Oh, I shot a little past 200. We're at 218. So I'm going to let this cool down to just under 200. Okay, and 2 things. One is I did not need to measure 2 of these out because I'm going to put both of them in the wax, since this is the double portion for these. And the other one is I thought I pushed the play button and I didn't. I took a pair of scissors and snipped this off before I pour the wax in here. I just like to have them snipped ahead of time, and it's the right height where I had to make room for the lid to fit down. So anyway, I'm sorry. I thought I was filming and I wasn't, but I got that little wooden wick trimmed. So now we're just waiting for this to cool just a bit. Then we'll add both the fragrances in here. All right, let's give this a stir and see what our temperature is. $196. We're good to go. And always, when you're going to take the temperature of something, and this goes for soap as well as candles, make sure you stir it first, because sometimes you'll get a hot spot or a cool spot and it won't give you an accurate reading. So it's always good to stir first and then take your temperature. So let's go ahead and add both of our little fragrances in here, since we're just going to go ahead and pour the candles. Ooh, smells pretty. Such a good fragrance. All right. I'm going to stir this very well, so I like to go several times around one direction and kind of pause And then we'll go several times the other direction, just to make sure that fragrance is really completely incorporated throughout all of the wax molecules. Little chemistry thing going on here. So nice. All right, time to pour these. We go. And these just need to sit and cool. I like to let them cool at room temperature. Don't throw them in the fridge or anything. You want them to cool naturally. And then after they're cooled, I have, this is, I think it's actually a requirement, and I really, really recommend it. Just a warning and a safety label. I have these white ones. I have these craft ones, if you like craft colors. But a safety label is so important, and these will go on the bottom of the vessel after these are fully cooled. And I'm going to set these over on my curing shelves, and they're going to sit there for a week. All right, so we will be back in a week, and it's going to be fun. We're going to give these a burn test. All right, just a quick tip. When I do my dishes with candle making, I wipe everything off really well with a paper towel, wipe out what's left in here, and then I just wash it clean with soap and water. But you don't want that going down your drains, so paper towels are your friend when it comes to candle making. I wipe it out as best that I can before I bring it over to the sink. All right, it has been several days, almost a week, so we're not quite ready to do a burn test. I've just set these off to the side and went on about my week, but I wanted to show you a couple of things. These are the other vessels that I poured with a different scent. These are going to be gifts for my family this holiday season. But let me show you something very interesting. I have not seen this, and if you have seen this, I would love to hear about it in the comment section down below. This wax actually shrunk. It's kind of cool. You can kind of see a little bit of a lip, and you can see here on the wick where when it was wet, it was up there, and as it cooled, it actually shrunk down. I thought that was fascinating. So I have not had that happen before. I thought that was fascinating, but it's still a good height, and again, to fit these lids, they have a good almost, well, over half an inch of a lip that goes down into the vessel with that rubber sealant on there. So I needed to leave room for that with the wick's height and everything. So now I did snip this wooden wick with my scissors before I poured the wax in. I did it when the wick was just in here by itself. And now it's time, since these are totally cool and firmed up, I can take my little wick holders off, and I love these. They are so simple and easy to use. The only thing that they wouldn't fit on anything beyond a 4-inch vessel, so a super wide mouth jar, these wouldn't work, but 4 inches and under, these are going to work just fine. So let's get these off, and let's talk about how to trim your wicks. So for a cotton wick, I like to use super low tech, a heavy duty nail clippers. It works great for me. There are specific wick scissors, and they're on a little angle, and they have a little disc at the end. They're very cute, they're very inexpensive, and they are specifically made for snipping wicks, either wood or cotton wicks in a vessel, because you can only reach the scissors in here so far at an angle. So these scissors are actually made with a crook on them. But I find that my handy dandy heavy duty nail clippers, which I got this for like under $1 at Walmart or any drugstore. I like the heavy duty ones, not the teeny little baby size ones. These are pretty big. But I find these work just great for all of my wick trimming needs. I do like to use scissors on a wood wick, but for cotton wicks, these are great. So I like to trim. I leave it about, I'm going to guesstimate here, but under an inch, between half an inch and an inch. And I do it at a little bit of an angle. And it just snips right off. And there it is. So you don't want your wick to be too long, and you don't want it to be too short. It will help you get your first burn pool going if you have a nice medium trim on your wick. And some people will trim them long and let the purchaser, whoever brings the candle home, trim it down to what they need. I personally just like to, I think this wick is the perfect height. It's ready to go, ready to light on fire. I like to have that pre-trimmed on my candles. So that's how I do it. I'm going to trim the rest of these, and then we're going to wait a couple more days and we will come back for our burn test. I have all these little wick trimmings left, and in the name of being eco-friendly and not wasting a thing, I gave this tip, gosh, a couple of years ago when I did a candle video. But when my children were at home, specifically my boys, and we were building our house and we just did a lot of bonfires, these are perfect for starting a fire. If you have a wood burning stove or you want to light a bonfire, you can use these as an igniter wick. You can twist them together and light them on fire and put them in to start your fire. So recycle these. If you have a wood burning stove or like to do a campfire or something, these are fantastic. They're already covered in wax, so they're semi-waterproof. I don't know, you campers out there, Boy Scouts are probably going to scold me for that because they could get wet, but they're already wax coated. So if you do like to start a fire, a wood burning fire of some kind, these work fantastic, so you don't have to throw them out. All right, since these are all firmed up and trimmed and ready to just continue their curing process, I'm going to go ahead and add my safety labels. And I do have a craft color one, sorry about the glare, and a white one. I'm going to use the white ones today because I think it goes more with these Luxe type vessels. But when I do my little tin can candles, they're a little more rustic, a little more homey. I like my craft warning labels. But again, it's just a simple generic candle warning label. You can get these at any candle fragrance distributors, Amazon, several different places. And you tip your vessel up, center it on the bottom, and there it is. You now have a warning label on your candle. You are within regulations. That is all good and proper. So let me get one on this one. And then let me talk to you about labeling candles. And again, I am not a primary candle maker, so I would consider myself a semi-novice at candle making. I do know that if I was going to be selling these candles, these are for friends and family right now. Even my test batches are for me. And so I just wanted to make a very simple label that says what the fragrance is, who I am, what it is. This is a soy candle. Just a little bit, and the weight of it, it says this one is the wooden wick, hand poured, soy, made in Tennessee, some basic information. And that is good enough for me. If you are going to market these, there are some candle label guidelines that you need to be really careful about. If you just Google candle labels and what's required, you can find some really good articles. This is a 2-inch round that I got from onlinelabels.com. I just liked it, and I think these vessels are so gorgeous. I didn't want to put a label on them for myself or my family, so I chose to do a lid label. And there it is. I've got this one says a cotton wick, this one says a wooden wick, so you just make sure that it says what you want it to say. Yeah, one other thing about labeling, you can also label the box that your vessel comes in. You can put a label on the box that you're going to ship your candle in also, or wrap your candle in. Not a shipping box, but a wrapping box. These candles from Morouge Canada came in these beautiful boxes that are absolutely perfect. So I am actually going to put them back in their original box. When I gift these, they're going to make perfect little wrapping gifts, and it keeps them nice and safe. It's a nice thick wall. So if you are marketing your candles and labeling, you can also put the proper labeling on the box that your vessel is in, and that is considered a proper candle label if you wanted to keep the vessel clean. Like, some vessels that you put your candles in, the vessel themselves is part of the artistry, and you don't want to cover it with a label. So if you have it in a box, you can put your label out here or on the lid like I did. So anyway, these are awesome with Morouge Canada. All the candles came in an individual box, which makes wrapping them up for my friends and family perfect and easy. So I really love that. So anyway, there's the labels, there's the safety labels. Now I'm going to walk away and let these continue to cure. I think the curing and the waiting is the hardest part, to be honest. It's a pretty easy project, but that waiting, that gets me every time. So we'll come back in a few days for the burn test. All right, it's finally time to do a burn test. It has been 6 days since I made these candles. Got the wood wick, the cotton wick, and got my lighter. And let's light these up, and I'm going to let them burn for at least an hour, so we'll come back and check in periodically. All right, let's start with the wood wick and get that going. It lights up nice and easy. Here's the cotton wick. Not catching the flame. There we go. And I can tell you right now, the cold throw on this wax is very nice. When I took the candles and sniffed them, you can definitely pick up the fragrance beautifully. So we'll talk about the hot throw as these burn. I'm going to move them apart so they don't radiate heat to each other. And we will come back and check in as these keep burning. All right, we're checking in. It has been almost an hour. And I think the burn pools on both of these look really good. I know there's a bit of a glare. I'll turn the camera around in just a minute. The wood wick, the flame has been nice and consistently low. The pool is almost out to the side. The cotton wick had a little bit of smoking when I first lit it, so I probably had it trimmed a bit too high, but it has leveled out on its own. So let me flip the camera around and hopefully get rid of that glare so you can see after an hour burn test and the hot throw, it smells really, really good in here. Just saying. All right, let's get this camera flipped. All right, there they are. You can see the wood wick pool is a little bit better out to the edges. But the cotton wick is acceptable, especially for the first burn. I think this is wonderful. So I'm very happy. This wax was easy to work with. These vessels are gorgeous. Everything about this is just delightful. So I highly recommend these vessels, the Silky Soy from Morouge Canada. Nothing but good things to say about it. Their fragrances, of course, are delightful also. All right, well, that is it for candle making today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you don't miss anything going on here in the soap studio or the candle studio. This was a really fun project. I think that, well, I'm going to love these, and I think my family is going to love these candles this holiday season and when I gift them. Have a wonderful day.